Hi, Daddy. If you like what you see, comment and subscribe.
Sipping on a 40. You don't know it's been a minute, huh? Homie, I'm back. Yeah, I said, homie, I'm back.
Microphone check, 1 2 1 2, check check. Today we're talking about teaching moments. And it's funny because when we're talking about teaching moments, I'm not talking about like teaching you guys anything. I'm more so talking about how children can teach us things. Like as parents, we can learn a lot from kids, and I'm starting to learn that more and more as like time goes on. So today it's not gonna be a rough one. It's gonna be cool. I feel like for something this teachy has to be a calm setting, you know. So sit back. Let's talk this one out. All right. So the other day, I'm kind of sitting back with my son.
Hi, Daddy.
And like I was saying last week when it was his birthday, I was just kind of like, trying to give him stuff that I didn't have before. And, I told you guys last week that, I started to learn that, hey, we don't really need, they don't really need a lot of money and things like that to like enjoy themselves as kids. I think that a lot of money is a learned behavior because like growing up, I don't remember like feeling broke or feeling like I had less than. I felt like I was just always playing and having fun. And, it wasn't until around junior high to like 12th grade when people started to be materialistic and like want things and like, oh, I need this or oh, I need that. But as like in my adolescent years, which my son and my daughter are in, or my daughter's kind of in junior high now, but it's not as they're not as impressionable as I was at a young age. So when I was growing up, I think right when I got in like 7th, 8th grade, I was like, oh, I need this. I need the flyest things. People start making fun of you, things like that. I don't know what to contribute this to, if it's having a dad in their life or having their mom and their dad in their life. They don't really trip too much. Like I think that us as adults, we trip a little bit more off of like fashion and things. But I don't think us as like, them as kids like care too much. And that's a teaching moment for me because when my daughter was really young and now my son being really young, I used to always want them in like fashion things. It didn't really matter about like clothes, but like their shoes and stuff like that. Like, oh man, you really, really, really need to have like X, Y, and Z so people don't make fun of you so you can just focus on your school stuff. Now, I'm because I see like where their level is. Like for instance, I bought my daughter some Vans a year and a half ago maybe, and then I've since then bought her maybe like 4 or 5 pairs of Nikes. She still wears her Vans like all the time, and it kind of started to make me upset. I had to pull her coattail one day, like, yo, like y'all just I bought you these, and she's like, well, Dad, these are more comfortable. And then I had to like kind of just take my hands off of it. Like, okay, that makes sense. Like you wear what's comfortable for you, baby. Like it's okay. Like you can do whatever you want. If you need other shoes, you have them. And when I was growing up, like I remember like when I was younger, I used to race outside in these Power Ranger sandals. And see, like this is what I mean by like kids teaching us things. Like this situation that just happened with her shoes brought me back to when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, it all makes sense now. It's starting to click in my head. Like comfortability is everything. Like I used to wear these sandals, and I used to wear them until they had this hole in the bottom of them where the balls of your feet are, because I used to race in them. And I used to be really fast in these shoes, and in my tennis shoes, I was really, really like, I wouldn't say slow because I've always been fast, but it was like, it kind of like hindered me from like, I guess my full potential. They used to wear, I think they were Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. Like, they would fly. They had the little strap on the front. It was a Velcro strap. And then the one that went around your ankle. And then it was just my shoes. And that was a teaching moment for me. It's like, man, like, I can buy you everything that you want, but what's comfortable is what matters. So that was one thing that, like, kind of clicked. Another thing was the empathy, and like the understanding of like feelings and being able to sympathize and things like that with my daughter. The other day she was in the car with me, and we got to the house, and where my garage is, my roommate's car is on one side, so like it's a kind of a tight squeeze. I was like, yo, how about you get out now, and then I'll get out once I pull in. So like, you can get out now. You have all the room in the world. Cause she had her backpack. She was coming back from her grandma's house. She had her backpack. She had her bag, cause she always has a bag of like what her dirty clothes were, and then she had like her earphones, her Beats by Dre, and her phone. So she gets out. My daughter is terrified of like bugs. So I guess there was like this wasp nest. I couldn't see it at the time, but she was like standing there, and I didn't know why. Minutes. It was weird. It was like 5 or 10 minutes of her just like standing there, and like, why are you standing there? And I got so upset that I like got out the car. I went around the back and I snatched her. I moved her out the way. I said, just move out the way so I can move the car. And I didn't do, my daughter gets really emotional. Like, she was staring at me with this blank look like she wanted to fade when I was telling her to move. But, like, she's very sensitive, so she started to cry when she got upstairs, and I had to sit with her, and I had to talk to her. And just find an understanding. She was like, oh, I wasn't doing anything. I was trying to move out the way and things like that. But one of the things that I have to learn is, like, I guess the way of, like, Yoda, I guess, to be a Zen, because I have issues with being Zen at the most correct time. Like, I feel like I'm Zen when it doesn't really count as much, and when it does count, it actually makes up for something, or it actually counts for something. I'm not. Like, I explode, and that's probably a mentality that I developed over the years, but I'm trying to like subside that and like bring up the other things. So empathy is one of the things that kids teach us, and patience. Patience, parents. Like, I don't think anything challenges your patience more than a kid waking up in the early mornings and we have to get them ready for school. I go, I get them ready the night before, right? And then my daughter still has to slow drag in the morning, get her clothes out the drawer. Like, I really need to, like, somehow get in front of it. Maybe I'm going to start making her get her stuff ready the night before she goes to bed. But she slow drags in the morning, and it just tries my patience. Because, like, we got to go. Like, I got to get y'all to school. And then I have to go further down. Like, it used to be, I used to drop her off at school, then I used to go around a corner, and her brother's school was on my way to the freeway. Now, I have to drop her off, then I have to go way down, drop him off, and then go way across, and down there, it's not as traffic friendly as it is where I live. So, it's very, like, inconvenient now, and I'm, like, always in a rush. And it bothers me. Excuse me. It bothers me a lot because it's like, dude, you could have did this the night before, but I have to then try patience. I have to just be like, okay, well, let me tell her a few times. Because, like, you don't want to snatch up your kids all the time. Like, so, okay. It's like, she did it this morning. And then at one point, I looked over, she was just gazing. She was like, so I'm like, I'm talking, and she's just out the window. Like, I'm not even saying nothing. I'm like, dude, hey, what are you doing? Like, we have to go. And it's those type of things that as parents drive us nuts. And but patience, those are teaching moments. Like, we have to be able to channel that inner like zen and have the patience. Another thing that like my kids teach me all the time is joy. Like they find the simplest joy out of things. Parents, stay with me for a second. Have you ever bought your kid something and they open the box, take the toy out and play with the box? Like, is that only me? Like, my son, like, for Christmas, he had so many things. And I told myself 2 Christmases ago I was going to stop buying him so many things because he gets plays with, like, the boxes and stuff. And, like, even for Christmas and things like that, he'll take things out. If it's clothes, oh, look, daddy's clothes, and then throw them to the side. He loves action figures, so, like, if he sees the action figure, he'll play with that. But for the most part, if it's a big box, excuse me, yeah, that's what he's playing with, like the big box, and just finding the joy out of the simplest things in moments is something that I feel has been very teaching for me and for my kids. Um, I I know for a fact that without my kids here, I wouldn't be as happy. It's funny when we're young, and I say this a lot to people. I always say that the older you get, the smallest like mistakes will be your hardest lessons. Like for example, when we were younger, right? Let's say we used to go out on a date, right? And you would trick off money because you didn't have responsibilities. So you go out on a date, you'll blow 300-400 bucks, and that's including gas. Like women don't understand, but gas goes into your relationship. I mean, your that date. So you gotta get gas. You gotta go somewhere. You gotta pay for food if there's a dinner. $300-400 depending on where you go. And I remember when I was young, like that was nothing. It's just a good weekend, another weekend for me. And now it's like, if I do that, it changes. It's the whole dynamic. So as we get older, the things that we find happiness in are less, and I think that's why, like they say, when you're like a senior citizen, you revert back to your kid age because like you always have money when you're old because like you don't spend as much because you don't go places as much, like you're not out and about. I have started to find that sense of happiness again now that I am back in when I'm in that mode. Like I work, I grind, and then I may go out occasionally, but it's money conscious wise. Like I won't go and spend so much money. Like I'm trying to find deals and things like that, and I'm trying to find my happiness in the smallest things. And I think, sometimes we have to just find the joy in the small things, and I think that kids teach us that as often as they can. I had a friend. He was Filipino when I was younger. His name was James. I haven't seen him since 7th grade. But I remember when we were in 7th grade together, let's go to his house, and he had the exact different life as I had. Like he had his own room. He had like snacks. Snacks are really important. He had snacks. He had like sound system in his room, things like that, and it was cool. We used to go over there. I used to chill out all the time. He used to bring me stuff. Like his mom had mad snacks, and I remember like he was like, "Oh man, like yeah, this all this stuff is cool." Like, but he had rather like come over to my house and like hang out. And I was like, "Why? You got all the snacks over here. At my house, we hungry." And I don't know, like. I don't know if that like explains in a nutshell of like how happiness can be something for you and totally different for someone else. And I think that in a grand scheme of things in life, like happiness is what you make it, right? So back to the kids. See, I thought I was gonna like go off on this tangent, So my daughter goes to her friends' houses, right? Often. And she goes, hangs out with her cousins. She'll go out with her friends and things like that. But she is very like, I want to be home. So she's kind of like me. Like, I can hang out with you for a day or so and then I have to come back. And I always ask her, like, hey, like, what's the thing? Because her friends be having hell snacks, stuff like that. And I don't really buy snacks like that. We eat full on meals. And she was like, I just kind of like to hang out. And, like, after a while, I don't like to, like, talk to people for too long. So, like, she gets irritated with people really quick. And I was like, oh, yo, you're your dad's kid. Because, like, that's exactly what I like to do. So, those are the teaching moments, I guess, that, like, my kids have been teaching me over the past few years. And every time they teach me something new, there's a new amount of growth that I think that I contribute to myself. And they always say that you're never too old to learn something new. And the fact that these kids are teaching me stuff, teaching me things and making me understand life from a different perspective at age 33, that's crazy to me. Because, like, when I was in high school, when the lower classmen used to talk to me, shut up, lower classmen, you can't tell me shit. And that was like, it was probably wrong with me, but at the time, like, you just had that mentality. Teenagers, they know everything. And now, like, as an adult, it's funny how I can take little lessons from everything and just drop these little teaching moments. And it's something that I can grasp onto in my mature age and continue the ball rolling. And that right there, you guys, is vision. That's retrospect. That's foreseeing, I guess, in life. And it's actually becoming more of like a wisdom thing versus like a learning thing. Because I always say, like, now with the internet and stuff like that, there's so much knowledge out there and information, but there's not enough wisdom to grasp it and actual intelligence to, like, understand what's going on. So yeah, that's my teaching moment segment, you guys. And I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for 27 episodes now, which is crazy. And until next time, you guys, I gotta get out of here and raise these kids.